Hello and welcome back. In this Black Excellist series, we will highlight the Black lottery winners who have hit it big.
Welcome to Black Excellist. This is where we celebrate Black excellence, achievement, and affluence. Our mission is to inspire you as we enlighten you.
Even though the likelihood of ever winning the lottery is incredibly low, just 1 in 293 million, it's fun to dream about what one might do with money. Some of us fantasize about buying a brand new mansion, paying off all our bills, starting a business, sending the kids to their college of choice, investing into the stock market, taking care of our parents, traveling all around the world, or being in a position to leave generational wealth. And although there are several tragedies, there are just as many triumphs as these winners make tough and life-altering decisions on what to do with their newfound fortune and fame. In this exclusive Black Excellist presentation, we will highlight the biggest Black lottery winners in the U.S. history. So without further ado, let's get started. Miguel Pilgrim, winner of $52 million. Miguel Pilgrim grew up in Memphis, started a career in the U.S. Navy, and was delivered to a life in South Florida while working as an executive for the Norwegian Cruise Line's Global Security and Surveillance Department. And it was in Florida in 2010 where he purchased a winning lottery ticket from a gas station that gave him the opportunity of a lifetime. Then 48 years old, Pilgrim used quick pick numbers to parlay his winning ticket into a $52 million jackpot. And since taking home the big jackpot, Pilgrim created a real estate company, the Pilgrim Group, to breathe new vibrancy into the historical Sistrunk Boulevard, once the richest Black community in Fort Lauderdale. Pilgrim has committed more than $19 million to revive the neighborhood that once was home to civil rights leaders, pioneers, and a lively nightlife. Brian and Barbara Woods, winner of $49 million. One of the happiest stories to come out of the lottery-winning sagas belongs to Brian and Barbara Woods, who won the Texas lottery in 2003. After claiming the $49 million ticket, Brian, then 38, quit his job as a diesel mechanic, and Barbara, then 46, turned in her keys to the J&K's Corner convenience store. The happy couple decided upon the annuity, which provided them with $2.5 million upfront and a payout of $2 million per year for the ensuing 24 years. The Woods took their winnings and opened up a historical motel in Texas called the Teepee Motel, which dates back to 1942. They bought the 10 retro stucco teepees for $60,000 and made $1.6 million in renovations. They also used their winnings to do good in the community by providing college scholarships to local students. Reverend Solomon Jackson Jr., winner of $260 million. In 2009, retired South Carolina state employee Solomon Jackson Jr. became the winner of a $259.9 million Powerball jackpot. The Columbia native, who was married and had 10 siblings at the time, was an assistant supervisor at the state's Department of Revenue, but retired 9 years earlier. He was the pastor at New Shiloh Baptist Church and was working on his degree at Midland Technical College when he spent just $2 on the lottery that he parlayed into a $260 million Powerball jackpot. At the time, South Carolina education lottery officials said the Powerball jackpot was the largest ever won with a ticket bought in the state. Reverend Jackson was given the option of taking the lump sum of $130 million after taxes, or he could choose yearly payments over 30 years. He took the lump sum and decided to spread the joy, donating $10 million of his good fortune to one of his alma maters, Morris College, a historically Black college in Sumter, South Carolina. It is the largest one-time individual donation in the school's history. Pearly Mae Smith, winner of $429 million. The Smith family in Trenton, New Jersey, won the $429 million Powerball lottery back in 2016, and they made immediate plans to use the money to help fight poverty. Pearly Mae Smith, who was 70 years old at the time, and her 7 children made it their first priority to pay off all of their debt and student loans. Each family member was able to recap in $25 million apiece after taxes when they decided to take their winnings in a lump sum. They created a foundation with the purpose of assisting with education, neighboring development, youth services, scholarships, and other community initiatives. After just their first year as multimillionaires, the Smith family spent an impressive $16 million to fight poverty through their Smith Family Foundation. Marina Feyron, winner of $55 million. Marina Feyron of East New York won $55 million, but chose to take the lump sum, taking home almost $23 million after taxes back in September 2010. The then 34-year-old single mother was a New York City corrections officer at Rikers Island and realized she had the Mega Millions winning ticket while waiting for the bus on her way home from the prison. Feyron had her fair share of hard times: homelessness, bankruptcy, robbery victim, and was even assaulted on her job. However, since winning, the Jamaican native has become quite the real estate mogul, with several properties in Queens, one in New Jersey, a 6-family apartment building in Bushwick, and a 3-family unit in East Flatbush. David Johnson, winner of $298.3 million. David Johnson of East New York claimed the $298 million Powerball jackpot in December 2018. At the time, it was the second largest jackpot in New York lottery history. Johnson was not aware he'd won until he was alerted by a coworker that the winning jackpot was sold at the store where he buys his tickets. The native of Jamaica came to the United States at the age of 16, and at the time of purchasing the winning ticket, he was employed as a truck driver for Iberia Foods, a Caribbean food and beverage distributor. At the age of 56 when he won, Johnson opted to take the cash value of the prize, a single lump sum payment totaling $114 million after taxes. Johnson is enjoying his retirement now, after having hired a lawyer to help him invest the money and take care of his family. Ronald Willis, winner of $120 million. The Louisiana native who grew up in Los Angeles became a California millionaire in September 2012 after purchasing a Mega Millions ticket from a convenience store. His fiancée, Yolanda Mangum, reminded him that he bought a lottery ticket and urged him to check it. Once he did, turns out it was worth $120 million. Willis had the choice of taking a lump sum of $70 million after taxes, or he could take payments of $4.6 million a year for 26 years. What a life-changing moment for the then 55-year-old father of 4, who would go on to invest into a large $5 million mansion in the guard-gated and celebrity-swarmed Hidden Hills community. He also made sure he invested into his fiancée, who would later start her own trendy fashion boutique called Lady MV. Robert Bailey, winner of $344 million. Robert Bailey is a retired New York government employee who has faithfully played the same Powerball numbers for over 25 years. In 2018, at the age of 67 years old, his consistency finally paid off, and now he has enough wealth to last generations. The Manhattan native was given the winning numbers by a family member when he was in his early 50s, and they helped him win the largest jackpot in New York history that totaled close to $344 million. The U.S. Postal Service machine operator took home $125 million after taxes after making the decision to opt for the lump sum. Bailey's first priority was to contact a lawyer and financial planner following his win to avoid the pitfalls of a lot of lottery winners, but he did have plans to travel, invest, and buy a home for his mom. Marcia Adams, winner of $72 million. Marcia Adams just wanted to get a candy bar for her boyfriend when they wound up winning the Georgia Mega Millions for more than $72 million. Adams, then 33, was a 12-year corporate accountant who loved her job and felt she was living her life's purpose. Adams chose to take the cash option, bringing home gross winnings of $34 million after taxes. Her immediate plans after winning the big jackpot was to hire a financial planner and stay with her day job. She said she wanted to be certain that she made wise future decisions and investments. On her short list of things to do with her newfound wealth was to plan a big wedding with her boyfriend of 7 years, take a family trip, and take care of her retired parents, who had some medical issues. Hosea and Charlene Person, winner of $46.5 million. A Southeast Michigan couple was checking for television updates on an overnight snowstorm that was battering Michigan when they got hit with the news in 2011 that they and their coworkers had won the lottery. Hosea and Charlene Person hit the reverse button on their DVR. Then Hosea Person turned his back to the TV and checked the 6 numbers as his wife read them off the screen. The then 48-year-olds were among 13 current and retired postal workers who formed a group called the P1 Gold Lottery Club, who would pool their money together to buy lottery tickets. The group decided to take their Mega Millions prize money in a lump sum of $29 million, and the funds were distributed evenly amongst the members. Mike Greer, winner of $129 million. Mike Greer's group, called Team Victory, came forward in November 2010 to claim the Michigan Powerball winning lottery ticket worth almost $130 million. He and other members of the group live primarily in Southeast Michigan and the Detroit metropolitan area. The group opted to take its winnings in a lump sum of $69.6 million after taxes instead of the annual installments. At the time, Greer was 49 years old and was self-employed in the digital imaging business. As part of the group's bylaws, Team Victory dedicated a significant amount of money to the church. Loretta Brown, winner of $75 million. The Detroit native and her family were in shock and disbelief when they discovered they had won the 8th largest lottery jackpot in Michigan history back in 2006. Brown, who at the time was a loan officer, was shopping at her favorite store, IKEA, when she decided to play the Mega Millions game for the first time that year. She stopped at Shell gas station on a whim and bought 2 easy pick tickets with 10 sets of numbers. And the rest is history. Brown traveled with her entire family to pick up her Mega Millions prize after opting for the lump sum of $32 million after taxes. She planned to share the prize with her husband, her siblings, and 2 adult sons, but her immediate goal was to simply pay off her bills. Jeffrey Love, winner of $21.6 million. Jeffrey Love found himself a millionaire when he was able to match 5 winning numbers plus the star ball to win the Minnesota jackpot. He was on his way to work back in 2019 when he remembered to check the lottery ticket he'd left in his car glove box. When the store scanner told him to contact Minnesota Lottery to claim the prize, and it hit him that he'd won. He called his wife Vicky to tell her, "We have a situation." It was Love's dream to visit the Minnesota Lottery office to claim a big prize since he drove by the lottery office every day on his way to work. He had a choice of taking the jackpot as an annuity, paying out 30 times over 29 years, or he could have taken the lump sum of more than $14 million, which would have been around $10 million after tax. Lewis White, winner of $336 million. When 81-year-old Lewis White realized that she'd won the Florida Powerball back in 2012, she immediately placed the winning ticket into the Bible and slept with it under her pillow until she decided to finally claim her prize. She never knew that accompanying a family member on a simple trip to get some sherbet would lead to her winning the 6th largest prize in the U.S. Powerball history, totaling over $336 million. The Rhode Island native regularly buys tickets for the Powerball and seemed to approach her newfound wealth with extreme poise and level-headedness. White immediately sought legal counsel and established a trust fund that she named Rainbow Sherbet Trust. White decided to take the lump sum of $210 million rather than the annuity and placed all funds into the trust. James Jimmy Groves was one of 2 winners of the New York $336 million Mega Millions lottery back in 2009. At the time, he was living in the housing projects in Harlem and worked as a laborer at Madison Square Garden. Jimmy was struggling financially when he purchased the Mega Millions ticket with the last dollar in his pocket. Groves, who had been playing twice a week for about 7 years, bought his winning ticket from a convenience store in the Bronx. He chose to receive his prize in 26 installments of $4 million a year, adding up to $150 million after taxes. The first person he called was his mother, who he promised to buy a new home, a nice car, and take a much-needed vacation. Theodore Duncan, the winner of $10 million. After this North Carolina grandfather won the colossal cash scratch-off in 2019 for $10 million, he immediately retired from his job as a mechanic. The 52-year-old, who was engaged to be married, made quick plans to spoil his children and 12 grandkids. But his first priority was to buy a 3-bedroom dream home for he and his fiancée in their small town of Oxford. Good fortune came upon Theodore Duncan when he was on his way home from dumping his garbage in a landfill when he decided to stop at a mini-mart and buy a $30 ticket. Instead of taking the annual payments of $500,000, he opted to take the lump sum of $4,245,000 after taxes. David Harris, the winner of $10 million. David Harris was a truck driver for Walmart. Harris and he was driving home from work when he stopped at a gas station to grab a cup of coffee. Feeling lucky, the Army vet also plunked down $90 for 3 Ultimate Millions tickets. Once he discovered he hit it big, he tried to call all of his close family members, but it was too late at night and no one was up. Finally, his son picked up to be the first to hear the incredible news. At the time, Harris planned to keep working, but wanted to use the money to buy his own big rig and have someone else drive for him. He also had initial thoughts of doing something nice for himself, like a vacation in Hawaii. Harris decided to take a lump sum payout that would equal to a little over $4 million after taxes. But not all lottery winners have happy endings. As much as we want to celebrate the winners, we also want to highlight a few cautionary tales to demonstrate that money isn't everything. It doesn't solve all of life's problems. History has countless examples of winners whose lives took a turn for the worse after hitting the jackpot, and we have stories of 4 Black lottery winners whose tragedy came disguised as once-in-a-lifetime luck. Winner of $188 million. Marie Holmes is a native of North Carolina and was living in a small town with a population of only 4,000 people. But she would put her little town on the map back in 2015 when she won the big North Carolina Powerball lottery on her 26th birthday for $188 million. At the time, Holmes had 4 small children, one with a disability. She was working at both Walmart and McDonald's to make ends meet, but she was now on the road to riches. Marie Holmes chose to take the lump sum payment and was able to keep $88 million after taxes. She was able to purchase a new home for her and her children, and things were starting to look up, so it seemed. Holmes would eventually be sued not only by her pastor, but also by her incarcerated fiancé. To add insult to injury, she had already gifted him millions in cash, cars, jewelry, and clothes, and spent at least $1 million to bail him out of jail on 4 occasions. Cynthia Stafford. Winner of $112 million. Cynthia Stafford was working as an account executive at a computer technology firm and struggling to raise 5 children when she won the lottery in May 2007. Cynthia was always a consistent lottery player who would buy tickets about 2 or 3 times a month. Every time she purchased a ticket, she visualized herself winning the jackpot using the laws of attraction. Her manifestation paid off. She won a $112 million jackpot from the California Mega Millions lottery and showed up to the lottery office with her father and brother at her side. Stafford opted to take the one-time payment instead of the installments. The lump sum came out to be about $45 million after taxes, which she split with her father and brother equally. Cynthia would upgrade to a bigger home for her and the kids, invest into a film production company, and give money to several charities. However, Stafford's generosity did come back to haunt her. She eventually ran out of money and filed for bankruptcy. Jonathan Vargas. Winner of $35.5 million. Jonathan Vargas was age 19 when he won the Powerball jackpot in 2008, totaling a massive $35.3 million. The Gaston, South Carolina native was the first Powerball winner from South Carolina and picked the majority of his numbers based on the ages or birthdays of his family members. He opted to take home a lump sum totaling about $17.3 million after taxes. After purchasing a mansion, Vargas and some partners created Rest Delicious, an all-female wrestling promotion company. The endeavor fizzled out within a year, and he continued to squander his money in countless other schemes and bad investments that never seemed to pan out. He eventually lost it all through a series of misplaced decisions and spending massive amounts of money on designer clothes and jewelry. Abraham Shakespeare. Winner of $31 million. The tragic story of Abraham Shakespeare began well enough after he found himself winning $31 million in the Florida State Lottery back in 2006. He opted for the lump sum payment instead of installments, taking home $17 million after taxes. Unfortunately, the drama for the lottery winner started almost immediately, who friends and family described as loving, generous, and trustworthy, perhaps to a fault. Shortly after winning, a co-worker accused him of stealing the winning ticket, and he was taken to court. The judge ultimately ruled in Shakespeare's favor and allowed him to keep his lottery winnings. Shakespeare's life quickly spiraled out of control. He would ultimately befriend a woman named Doris D.D. Moore, who had promised to help him sort out his money and organize a financial plan. But rather than help him, she was secretly bilking money out of him and depleting his riches. In 2009, Shakespeare's family declared him missing, and in January 2012, D.D. Moore was standing trial for his demise. She was eventually found guilty and is currently serving a life sentence. Michael Hill. Winner of $10 million. Michael Hill was 49 years old and working at a nuclear plant and lived in Brunswick County when he claimed his prize of $10 million in North Carolina's lottery. The power plant employee opted for the lump sum, and after taxes, he received a financial windfall of more than $4 million. Hill voiced plans to pay off all of his bills and even invested in his wife's instructional design business. Hill was living the dream. That was until 2020. Years after his big win, Hill was sentenced to life in prison. He confessed to the shooting death of a 23-year-old woman that he was having an affair with. Doris Murray, winner of $5 million. Doris Murray was a loving 42-year-old mother of 4 living in South Carolina when she was blessed with a $5 million winning lottery ticket. What's even more a coincidence is that she discovered she won on her birthday. Murray chose to take it in annual payments of $172,000 over 20 years, and she was making wise decisions with newfound riches. She lived by meager standards for a lottery winner, only purchasing things out of necessity and even setting up a trust fund for her grandchildren. However, Murray's story is another tragic and cautionary one. In 2008, just after a year after claiming her winning ticket, her ex-boyfriend was charged with her untimely demise after the two apparently had an argument about continuing the relationship. The lottery continued to make the yearly installments to the benefactors that were named in Murray's will.
We appreciate the fact that you stayed until the end. Thank you for spending time with us, and don't forget to like this video. Also, make sure you subscribe so that you never miss a video. Bye for now. We will see you tomorrow.
Like we're not going